first time all season long. Started there 5 times a year ago. We'll see Duran, Narvaez, and Kiner Falefa round out the starting lineup for the Red Sox. And Perk, that group will see Mick Abel. His numbers are brought to you by CarShield.
Best start of his season so far last time out. 6 innings, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts against the Tigers. He had the relief appearance to start the season. Tough weather in game 2, but threw the ball well against the Tigers his last time out. We'll see what he's got tonight. It's the 4-seam changeup, curveball, slider, and that sweeper for Abel.
And we'll get to the Twins defense here in a moment, but first we are ready to go. Anthony steps in, and Abel's first pitch is 95 and taken low for ball 1. Anthony DHing last night, 1 for 2. A double, scored twice, and also walked 2 times. Abel misses again, 2-0, and there's 97 on the second pitch of the night for Abel. His first look ever at the Red Sox in the regular season. Did see Boston during spring training. Strike 1. That's been rare, Abel falling behind Anthony, because you look at Mick's season so far, 3 games, 2 starts, a very high first pitch strike percentage. And now 2-2.
And I think for Mick, it's getting ahead is good. It's quality pitches from there and being able to put hitters away. Competitive, but quality pitches with 2 strikes.
See Caleb Durbin on deck. The first, a 2-2, Abel to Anthony. Here it comes on the ground to the right side, and Keishel makes the play, and Anthony grounds out, so 1 away. And Durbin coming up. But Molly, how about the rest of the Twins defensively tonight?
Yeah, nice play by Keishel there to get the first out of the ball game. Twins have their left-handed hitting lineup today. Out in left field will be Trevor Larnach, Byron Buxton in center field, Matt Wallner in right. On the infield, Tristan Gray gets to start at third. Brooks Lee at shortstop once again. Luke Keishel at second. Cody Clemens gets a start at first, and Victor Caratini will be doing the catching.
So 1 up, 1 down, and now Durbin. And a check swing foul off the net near the Twins dugout. Caleb Durbin, acquired from Milwaukee back in February. Had a good rookie season with the Brewers, hitting just .135 so far to begin his Red Sox career. Had a good game last night. To right, but that will slice foul. And now it's 0-2. Abel has struck out 5 right-handed batters this season, and of the 5 strikeouts, 4 have come with his 4-seam fastball. Now some options here with Caratini behind the plate. Went off speed and just missed. Looked to be in the zone, but not challenged by Caratini. He's been very good. He's challenged 10 behind the plate. He's been successful 8 times. Looked to be right on the corner, but no challenge by the catcher. Wide of third, and Tristan Gray. That's a good throw. A couple of ground ball outs induced by Abel so far. So 2 down. Yoshida's coming up. But first, Perk, we take a look at our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, go deep. They've been riding the long ball, 4 straight multi-homer games. Why not continue to do that? And then hello, old friend, Sonny Gray on the mound. Had a lot of experience, pitched a lot of good games for the Twins on this field, and we'll see what this year's version of Sonny Gray looks like.
Broken bat for Masataka Yoshida. Tough for him to find some playing time right now. Left-handed hitting Japanese-born outfielder, also some DH. He did not play outfield at all last year, coming back from shoulder surgery. He can now play the outfield here in 2026, but with Anthony and Duran playing either left field or DH on a regular basis, playing time has been tough to come by, but Yoshida's been hot. And that continues, a 2-out single. And the Red Sox have a base runner for Wilson Contreras.
Well, the Red Sox have been facing a little bit of decision making as far as that outfield, a little bit of an excess situation, kind of somewhat similar to the Twins, but Yoshida not getting a lot of playing time here for through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
And Duran, in fact, he's in center tonight. No Ceddanne Rafaela to start. And now Contreras. Big cut as Abel challenged him with a fastball at 95. Last 10 games, Contreras, acquired from St. Louis, hitting .389 with 3 homers and 10 knocked in. He was 1 for 3 last night. Abel's 0-1. Slider miss, 1-1. Contreras, a former Cub, Cardinal, and now the primary first baseman with Boston. No longer catching. Ball 2. Another one, Perk, that Caratini could have challenged.
I thought the slider was close as well. That one was just off, but I think that one there, right at the top rail of the strike zone.
Righty changeup. Now 2-2. Hasn't done that too much, Perk, this season. Not too many right-on-right changeups.
That's the second one he's thrown all year.
So some options here for Abel with Yoshida at first. No score. Breaking ball misses outside. Sonny Gray. Returned to Target Field as a Cardinal in 2024. Twins saw him opening day in St. Louis last year. Yoshida will be off, and now Contreras calls time. Abel's 17th pitch of the inning. (3-2) foul back.
All right, Molly. You come into a game as a hitter. You got your scouting report. You know what pitches to look for. The guy you're facing has thrown one changeup to right-handed batters all year.
Sure, that's the way it works.
What's going through your mind after that?
Well, you talked about earlier, Perk, about him having to try to figure out how to get people out after he gets strike one.
Strike 3 called, and Contreras strikes out looking at Abel. A little fist pump off the mound. And the Red Sox get a single, don't score. Abel picks up his first strikeout of the night. Top of the zone indeed. And the Red Sox first is history. Derek Shelton and the Red Hot Twins, 92 runs. This group has scored this season's second highest total so far in the American League, and winners of 7 out of 8. And the Twins lineup is brought to you by Menards. Byron Buxton, 85 home runs and counting here at Target Field, #1 all-time. Trevor Larnach, he took Sonny Gray deep twice here at Target Field 2 years ago. Josh Bell has been fantastic batting fourth and will DH Lee and Gray at the bottom. And Sonny Gray on the mound for the Red Sox, and Byron chops the first one foul down the left field line. And a look, Perk, at Sonny Gray back here in downtown Minneapolis.
Well, up to a good start this year. We mentioned it in the open. The strikeouts are down. The swing and miss is down. That cutter that he threw to Buck, first pitch, is his most used pitch this year. That was number 5 in the hierarchy last year. I was talking to Will Middlebrooks over in the TV booth earlier today, and he just thought cold weather early in the season. Doesn't feel like Sonny has a good grip, good feel for the curveball sweeper combo yet.
Line to left center field, and Buxton will start the night with a leadoff single, giving it a look, but Duran quickly gets it back in. So Byron head was up, Molly rounding first base, just keeping tabs of any little bobble or juggle out there in left center.
Well, Buck's going to put the pressure on the defense every opportunity that he gets. Gets a little backup cutter there and gets it out there to left center. Took a nice hard turnaround first base, which you should do in case there's a little bobble or a misplay or a slip or something.
All right, temperatures are in the 60s. Byron does not have a stolen base yet this year. He was a perfect 24 for 24, and now a balk has been called on Gray. And Byron, we saw him steal third for the first time in his big league career last year, late. And now he's at second base with nobody out as the Twins are looking to put up another big number early.
And didn't even have to do anything, and he's already got Sonny Gray thinking about him standing on first base.
So here is Larnach. He homered twice off Gray here at Target Field 2 years ago. And a lot to like about Trevor Larnach's start to his season, but let's go back to the balk here.
Well, pitch com balk.
Does he keep it on his?
It looks like he's got it. Yeah, it looks like he's got it on his glove, and he's calling pitches.
Curveball missed, and now 2-0 on Larnach. Larnach 12 games, a home run, more walks than strikeouts. OPS near 900, a base percentage over 400. Cutter 2-1.
Pretty much everything Sonny Gray is going to throw tonight is going to be glove side. So that'll be that inner half to lefties, outer half to righties. He's using that cutter. See there, almost a quarter of the time, just to try to miss the barrel.
What about that two-seam sinker coming back, Perk, against lefties? Is that in play for Gray tonight as well?
I think it might be in play right here.
Situation for Larnach here. Really, you got to shorten up your swing and try somehow to put that ball in play and get Buck over to third with less than 2 outs.
Nobody out. Byron at second base. 2-2 on Larnach. As Narvaez sets up away, and the pitch is a fastball that missed. And Narvaez will challenge, and it looked to be in the zone. It's a ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile, and it is a strike. And Narvaez, just his third successful challenge this season. He's only challenged 6 pitches on the lower end, but he now has flipped 3 at-bats for strikeouts. So not just challenging early in the count, but how did the at-bat end? And Narvaez, few challenges, but he's flipped the at-bat from either a ball or a walk to a strikeout now 3 times.
And Sonny Gray hunting a strikeout. That's why I thought that two-seamer might be in play with the guy on second, nobody out. As you said, Molly, Larnach at a minimum trying to hit something to the right side to move Buck over to third. As a pitcher, you're trying to get an out there without advancing that
allowing
run.
that to happen, which is a challenge for Sonny because he's working that inner half to the plate against those left-handed hitters.
And not a good cut there from Keyshaw. A sinker, and it's 0-2 on Luke. What happened here, Molly, with this swing?
Well, I think a little two-seamer there, probably protecting against an off-speed pitch, as Sonny is known to use probably more than that fastball. Perk talked about the cutter that's been more in play this year.
No balls and 2 strikes, and Keyshaw on a breaking ball low for ball 1. Stopped by Narvaez. Very good defensive catcher. Buxton a single, took second and a balk, but Gray struck out Larnach. And now Keyshaw. The Twins have been fantastic with runners in scoring position last 8 games, hitting over 360. That guy on deck has been coming up with big swing after big swing. But first, it's Keyshaw outside.
You know, we've been talked a lot about the power surge the Twins have been on, but the situational hitting, particularly with men in scoring position, leading all of baseball over 300 for the season.
Good take, 3-2.
And the big innings have been a combination of the two. It seems like some good at-bats with runners in scoring position. They end up getting that one big swing late in innings.
Was 0-2, now 3-2 on Keschall, and the payoff pitch in the air to center field, shallow and down for a base hit. Buxton a late break. He's going to try and score anyway. The throw is cut. The relay, and Byron is out. And Byron is telling the dugout to challenge right away. So for now, there are two down. And Derek Shelton is going to vacate the dugout and probably wants to run over a few things on this play.
Well, Buck couldn't get a good jump. Not sure if that ball was going to be caught by Duran. An aggressive sign for him to go ahead and try to score. And as you said, Shelton not only coming into the plate, safer out, but what was the catcher's position in terms of interference?
Minnesota's challenging the out call at home plate and also the possible blocking of the plate.
Well, I don't think there's any block there from Narvaez, but I think we had a good shot that Byron's hand does sweep across that plate before the tag is applied by Narvaez. And this is likely going to be a successful challenge by the Twins, and speed leads to an early run.
Well, and how about the speed? Buck, as you said, Molly, didn't get a great jump, but he still had momentum going. And as soon as he saw that ball get down, an aggressive send by Ramon Borrego at third. A little bit of trouble from Contreras getting that ball out of his glove on the pitcher's mound, but Buck's speed, he's able to outrun another play.
And he really couldn't drift too far off of second because Duran's coming straight towards second base, and this throw coming in behind Buck, if he does make a catch, is a rather short one. But just turns on the afterburners. A little bit of a hesitation bobble by Contreras on the relay enabled Buck to come in there safely. And I'm going to add something about Luke here. The reason I think he's going to be an exceptional major league hitter, those takes that he took to get to 3-2.
After review, the call is overturned. The runner is safe. Minnesota will return their challenge.
Elite speed strikes again. RBI single, Keschall, 1-0 Twins, and one out here in the opening inning. Go ahead, Molly.
Yeah, we kind of assumed after seeing that replay that was going to be confirmed. But being able to take those pitches that start in the strike zone and break off, I just think he really sees the ball a long time, particularly with 2 strikes. Got a pitch he could handle. Another hit with runners in scoring position.
And remember, Keschall was down 0-2 in that at bat to Molly and came back, and those were some great takes on some breaking balls from Gray, and drives in his 9th run. And now Josh Bell drove in 2. The double off the wall last night. This is popped up. Shallow right, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa lets it drop, and no intentional fly, no infield fly is called. So what IKF did right there is letting that one drop, and they removed better speed. So 2 down. So Kiner-Falefa letting it drop.
You could see that he was going to do this from the start. Kiner-Falefa, as he goes back, he gets behind that ball, and you see as he's backpedaling, he keeps looking at the runner and seeing where Keschall is, knowing that he'd rather have Josh Bell on first base than Luke Keschall with 2 outs. Smart play by Kiner-Falefa.
Is that just instincts there, Molly?
Sure,
just kind of looking at who's up and where the runners are?
Things that infielders should be aware of. And you know the ball, when it lands on the grass, is just going to die right there. So not a very big risk of Luke being able to advance to second.
Walner got jam, rolls it back to Gray. He'll take it to the base, a little flip, and that is the inning. But the Twins score again right away tonight at Keschall. RBI single, and Buxton does his thing from second. Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by Progressive. Welcome back to Target Field. Twins on top 1-0. Byron Buxton scoring from second base, and a Luke Keyshaw single to center. A look at the ballpark from our Delta drone cam on this nice Tuesday night. Twins seeking their third straight series win. Winning last night, up early tonight. Strike one on Wilyer Abreu, two-time Gold Glove winner. Just a really solid all-around player, offensively and defensively. Had 2 hits last night, drove in a run. Abreu rarely swings and misses. He doesn't chase too much. And he's been pulling the ball at a high rate so far this year, and now down 1-2 on an able sinker. You know, Perk, thinking about this stretch that the Twins are in right now, this is game 14 of 15 in a row. And for Abel, finally some normalcy in that, knowing when he's going to pitch every 5 days. He can kind of settle in now after throwing out of the bullpen early on in the year. As he strikes out Abreu with a changeup off the outside corner. Back-to-back punch-outs for Abel. And there is out number 1.
Well, and I think in spring training, when he was locked in and made the team, pitch his way onto this team, it was a routine. And then that first outing, he piggybacked with Bailey Ober just because of the off days. Bailey Ober a little bit behind coming out of camp. And I think he's been able to settle in a little bit. He got his first start against Tampa. It was really cold out. But then he looked really good against Detroit. And I think just, especially for a young guy, just being able to fall into that routine of what you're doing each day, your start day, the next day, your bullpen day, and letting those pile up, you kind of just fall into it and don't think about anything other than the preparation that you have to do that day, and then you can get out on the mound and just pitch. And this is the first opportunity, real opportunity that he's had to just get into a routine now. And adding on to that is just this stretch of games where there hasn't been an off day. It's not the 6th day here, the 5th day there. Just rinse and repeat each day and figure out how to get it done at the big league level.
Ball 1 to Story. Hitting just 188 this season, 1 walk to 22 strikeouts for the veteran shortstop. But 1 for 3 last night. And Abel struck him out again. So Molly, he's got pitches working early tonight. 3 straight strikeouts.
Well, not only has he been able to get ahead here early in this game, he's been able to finish guys off. You know, the right-on-right changeup on Contreras back in the first. Abreu on a changeup, and then a curveball there to get Story.
So 2 down for Jarren Duran. A long home run last night, drove in 2. Saw Durant hit 3rd last night, as I mentioned, hitting 7th for the first time all year. Started 7th 5 times last year. Oh, 2. Abel asking for a new ball. Struck out Abreu swinging, Story swinging, and now ahead of Duran. No balls and 2 strikes. Led the league in triples last year. Duran did with 13. 0-2, and that's a foul ball. And getting a piece of Caratini.
Molly, did your elbow guard have your last name on it, or did it say the Igniter, or what did your elbow guard say?
It was a different time. Never wore any body armor. You know, back then, if you started to wear it, if you were one of the initial people,
they'd aim at it.
They'd try to come get you.
It was a target. Check swing, and you bet he went. With a slider, 89, and Mick Abel strikes out the side in the second. Abreu swinging, Story swinging, and Duran with an inning-ending sword, ending the Red Sox second.
Did you
Twins hit 4 home runs last night, and one of the 4 came from this man, Victor Caratini. Went deep off Garrett Crochet, his first as a Twin. He'll lead off the second as Sonny Gray misses inside a fastball at 91 for ball 1. Crochet roughed up, retired only 5 men last night, 11 runs, 10 earned. His ERA coming in was just over 3. At night's end, it was over 7. I wonder, though, as much of a competitor as a guy like Crochet is, if he has circled on the calendar when the Twins are at Fenway. If he's already said to Cora and like, hey, when the Twins come to Boston, I want to pitch in that series. Caratini sends it to right. Over near the line is Abreu, and he'll track it down near the warning track. And Caratini is out number 1. Doesn't always work out that way, right? Depending on when your turn comes up. But I wonder if that's on the mind of a pitcher after the kind of night that he had last night.
I think the feeling is mutual. I think he probably wants another crack at the Twins, and I think the Twins would love to take him on again and see if they can repeat what they did last night. But absolutely, and I mentioned that. That was the best part about being a reliever, is you had a bad night. I wanted to get right back out there. That guy that got me, I wanted to get you next time. So as a competitor, absolutely, he wants another chance.
And you know, if he doesn't get that chance in Boston in May, he'll remember next year too.
Yeah.
Cody Clemens. Speaking of Fenway Park, what a moment that Cody had at Fenway last year with his dad in attendance. And Cody hit that game-changing, turned out to be game-winning home run late at Fenway Park. His first ever game at Fenway. And Roger was there to see it. And Cody came up big. 1-2, and Clemens will challenge. Twins hitters have challenged 29 times now, 30, and Cody is successful. So the Twins hitters now with 15 ABS wins. That also leads the sport. So 15 hitter wins, including that one, and the Twins stand alone. Hard shot and a base hit into right center. And Molly, let me ask you this, because that came at a 1-1 count. And the difference for a hitter, 1-2 compared to 2-1, has to be massive.
The numbers don't lie. I mean, anytime you flip counts, you'd be amazed at how dramatic some of those numbers can be. And instead of being on the defensive end of a swing, much more aggressive in a 2-1 count, Cody delivers.
And instead of being in a chase count, breaking ball count, you're in a fastball count. You get a fastball, you hit it right back up the middle.
Brooks Lee has an RBI in 5 straight games. 2 homers, now 9 knocked in. Confidence growing day by day for the former first-round pick. And his season flipped 5 days ago. The game-winning swing here against the Tigers, wrapping up the 4-game sweep. Had a good weekend in Toronto and drove in a run last night. Big breaking ball low on Lee, 1-1. Gray is inducing a career-high ground ball rate so far this year. Clemens takes off, a swing and a miss. Throw is going to be not in time. Clemens kept his hand in the bag. Crew chief Alfonso Marquez patient with that call. And for now, Clemens is safe, and that's his 4th stolen base, and that leads the team. Timer down to 2, down to 1, and no challenge by Boston.
You know, Schulte talked the other day about everybody's got a green light unless he puts the red light on. And that might have actually been a hit and run as Brooks had to chase that changeup down in the dirt.
Do you see the swing on a stolen base attempt just to keep the catcher back as much in today's game? I know that was a thing for a long time, that a guy would take that swing just so a catcher couldn't get out
sometimes
get that ball.
And also in the past, not as much in today's game. if a hitter knows the guy's going, he might actually square around and try to get that bat head on eye level of the catcher to maybe interfere with a clean catch behind the plate.
Foul ball.
But I think that was a hit and run, which I don't think we see very often in the game anymore. It's usually straight steal or nothing. But the way that Clemens not just gave a glance into home plate as he ran, it was a lingering look to make sure he knew where the ball was in case it got put in play.
Twins now up to 13 stolen bases, puts them in the top half so far in baseball. 2-2 to the right side, and Connor Falefa throws out Lee. So Clemens down to third, and now we'll have the law firm of Gray and Gray here with 2 down in the second. Don't miss a pitch this season with Twins TV. Stream all games throughout Twins territory without blackouts, live or on demand for the entire 2026 regular season. Subscribe right now at twins.tv. Sonny on the mound. Tristan steps in. And what has stood out, Molly, so many things have during this last 8, 9, 10 days, but clutch 2-out hitting for the Twins has been a constant.
You can look at so many things that attribute to the fact we've been one of the hottest offensive teams over the last 8 games. And whether it's been 2-out hitting, runners in scoring position, taking our walks when they're there, adding to our on-base percentage collectively, and of course the power has been there too. But yes, a lot of 2-out hits, and they're very deflating for an opposing pitcher.
See if Gray can battle back. Down 0-2 with Clemens at third, and the pitch cued third base line. Here comes Durbin fielding and slings it across in time, and the Twins lead Clemens at third base. So 2 innings complete, and the Twins have a 1-0 lead. It'll be hitters 8, 9, and 1 for the Red Sox coming up in the third. What's become the norm here, though, for us here on home Tuesdays. Did this last year. We're doing it once again. Rocco Baldelli joined us on Tuesday nights at home in the past, and Derek Shelton has done the same so far this year. And Audra is in the dugout, standing by live right now with Shelty.
All right, Derek, you guys get on the board because of Byron Buxton's speed, but it's also thanks to Luke Keeshaw's at-bat. How professional was that appearance?
Yeah, really good at bat. Couple turf. First 2 pitches were tough. He didn't look like he got a look. Battled at 2 strikes, and then Buck's speed just changes the game.
Mick Abel has 4 straight strikeouts on a couple different pitches, including a righty-on-righty changeup. How indicative of that is, how locked in he is?
Well, I think it's indicative of that, what his weapons are, and Victor Carantini understanding the game and understanding the matchup.
Appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the way out.
All right, thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Audra, thanks. We thank Shelty for joining us on these Tuesday nights here at home. So Abel so far with 4 strikeouts and 6 swing and misses per through 2 innings.
Well, we saw Bailey Ober generate swing and misses last night, and Abel here early. He's got that kind of stuff, and I think he's got an above-average whiff rate on the fastball, the changeup as well, and I think as he gets more comfortable with that sweeper, the pitch that he just started throwing last year, it's another kind of wipeout style pitch, but he's got overpowering stuff. The extension, it's all there. He's free and easy, loose, and he generates a ton of spin. I just think as he develops, he's going to end up being a guy that we'll see rack up strikeouts, not unlike what we've seen tonight. Swing and misses, strikeouts, overpowering type of stuff.
Timmy Laudner calling a strong performance from Nick tonight in the pregame, from Mick, excuse me. But I want to ask you a little bit more about your comment in the first inning. We didn't really get into it too deeply. Being able to finish at bats off, I think it has to do reading swings to a degree, trusting your catcher, but is it execution more than anything?
I would think that where Mick's at right now, it's mostly trusting the catcher. I don't think he's going to shake off very often. I don't know if he's at the point where he's going to be able to focus on the pitch he wants to throw and then also see how the hitter's reacting to it. So I think he's going to lean on Caratini or Jeffers or whoever's behind the plate and try to execute. But I think what we've seen at times from him, he'll get ahead and it's 1-2, 0-2, and then all of a sudden it's 2-2, 3-2. It's about making competitive pitches with 2 strikes. Close enough to the strike zone that a hitter wants to swing at them, but not in the zone where they're going to get hit. There's a fine line there. It's that strike to ball. You want it in the zone long enough that a hitter's going to go for it. And that right on the corner until it's not.
5 consecutive strikeouts for Abel. A fastball painted at 94, and Narvaez strikes out looking.
And this is a great call by Caratini, but also great execution. And when you think about the pitch before, a slider that started in that exact same spot and then breaks out of the zone, then you come back with a four-seamer, and that's the one right there. You hit that spot, you're going to get the strikeout. You miss that spot, and all of a sudden it's a 2-2 count, and things are completely different as a hitter.
They tell me they call that tunneling these days.
Yep.
We didn't have any tunneling back in the day. I'm not sure what we refer to.
The Twins' record, by the way, for most consecutive strikeouts by a pitcher belongs to Kenta Maeda. That was here against Milwaukee in August of 2020, and he struck out 8 consecutive Brewers. 1-2. And Maeda finished second in the Cy Young voting that year. Abel has struck out the last 5 consecutively, ahead of Connor Falefa, who's just 1 for 12 so far this season. Outside. Competitive slider to the veteran infielder. Isaiah Connor Falefa with the Blue Jays last year. Parts of 8 years now plus in the big leagues. A .261 lifetime hitter. 3-2.
The way he took the previous pitch, I thought that maybe they'd go back upstairs, get the swing and miss at the top of the zone. He doesn't bite at the breaking ball away. Thought maybe they'd run one back upstairs.
Chop to the right side. Diving stop by Clemens to his feet. Feeds Abel on the run. The catch and the step. Well done by the Twins for out number 2. So Clemens, quick first step, a lunging stop, and then Abel fielding his position well. It's our unreal defensive play of the game for the Twins early on tonight.
Well, nice job by Abel on a couple fronts. One throwing a nice pitch on 3-2, locating a fastball away. Clemens extending all the way to his right on a beautiful backhanded stab on a dive and a good feed to Mick.
So 2 down, and now Anthony grounded out to Keyshaw to begin the game. Line to left center field, and Buxton on the move. He'll cut it off and hold his WBC Team USA teammate to a 2-out single. So the inning continues now for Caleb Durbin.
Roman Anthony's going to be a player. He's off to a little bit of a rough start this year after some heroics in the WBC for the USA. But you can see that swing's going to play for a long time.
That's a pretty swing.
Now Durbin showing bunt, lays it down. Abel, bare hands, will throw and got him. Nice play by Abel. Well, Durbin, a former Milwaukee Brewer, brought that style, that approach with him out east. But Abel, a couple of good plays defensively, and the Twins maintain a 1-0 lead. Second time through now for the Twins. Buxton, Larnach, and Keschall. But the Twins on top 1-0. Byron singled and scored from second base, and a Luke Keschall RBI single, a golf shot high and deep to left field. Back it goes, deep it goes, and gone. Byron Buxton's second deck home run. He's homered now in back-to-back nights. It is 2-0 Twins.
I don't want to toot my own horn here, Molly, but remember last night when I said him hitting a fastball out to center field to me means that he's going to be on a hanging breaking ball?
I remember you saying that, and I totally agree. I think the more that you are looking left center and right center on that fastball, those mistake breaking balls are going to stay fair instead of getting hooked foul. And Buck can get hot. He can hit them in bunches.
And that great embrace, we saw that last night between Byron and Royce. It happens again tonight. And Buxton now is homered in back-to-back games. Gray has just given up his second homer all year. And the Twins have a 2-0 lead, nobody out. And now Trevor Larnach. So all this is happening, by the way, while we're joined live by Twins catcher Ryan Jeffers from the dugout here tonight. Thanks for doing this. And you had a good perspective on Byron's moonshot to the second deck and left.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys were going to send it over to me. I'm kind of trapped down here in this headset. Couldn't go celebrate with my boys.
I was going to ask you, we had Joe Ryan on the other day, and I think you guys scored like 7 runs in that inning. I was going to ask, what are you going to be able to do? How are you going to be able to contribute? And before we could even get to you, Buck goes deep.
I'd like to say take some of that credit, but that is way out of my ballpark.
2-2 now on Larnach, but congratulations for you on a great start for you and the team. Right now you're 4th amongst all catchers in Fangraphs WAR, but you were a big part of the offense last night against Garrett Crochet. Just looking back on that for a moment, what led to that just outburst against one of the best pitchers in the game?
Yeah, I think we had a really good approach. You know, it's something we've been doing really good of lately.
This is crushed to center field, but in the yard for Duran. That sounded loud. 104 off the bat, 372 straightaway center. It's a good swing by Larnach, but the wrong part of the ballpark. 1 down.
Yeah, I think we've been doing just that. You know, I think we're passing the baton one by one, just continuing to pass the baton, put good ABs together, taking our walks. You saw in that first inning, you know, we manufacture, we got a single, we got a balk, and then manufacture a run there. And that's kind of what we've been doing. It's just guy by guy doing what they need to do to get the job done.
I was totally wrong last night about, I thought you guys would try to stay inside Crochet a little bit more, and then the first inning, guys are hooking the ball in the left field corner, pulling homers. Were you guys really trying to own that inner third of the plate off him last night?
Yeah, I think with a guy that has that much velocity and the cutter that he throws, it's most guys fastballs that cuts in on you. You know, if you try and stay inside too much, you're just going to jam yourself. So really trying to get the head out as much as you can on a guy like that. It gives you the best results to get a barrel on the ball.
1 ball, 1 strike on Keschall. 1 for 1 tonight with an RBI single as Gray misses down low. Pert.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Brian, I want to ask, that's almost like I was supposed to add like we had something queued up.
Sorry, bud.
I want to ask you about the ABS and how that's been. Obviously, you're one of the best, if not maybe the best catcher in baseball behind the plate. What has that been like just as far as you've been behind the plate, you know the strike zone, but you've never had to pay attention to what's actually a ball or a strike until this year?
Yeah, you know, I think in game the last couple of years, you kind of get a sense like, darn, he missed that ball, or yeah, you know, that might have clipped the corner, or maybe that was a little off. You start to develop a good feel for it, but when you have the ability to challenge, there's a nice satisfactory, you know, ring to it when you do think you miss it and you can pull the trigger and challenge the call he made, and it has changed the game in a lot of good ways for us so far.
You know, a quick follow-up to that is that in the first inning tonight, we had a couple balls that were in the zone that were called balls. You know, that discretion early in the game for you to try to weigh and measure if it's worthwhile when you're talking about maybe a borderline pitch in the first inning.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that goes into the radar in all this is taking and understanding the game state, and that's a big word, big fancy analytic word, but understanding how the game is going to change from that challenge. You know, those challenges
In the hole and off the glove of Story, but Keyshaw is 2 for 2.
Those challenges are a team thing. You know, when hitters use them, you don't want to call it selfish, but sometimes those are a little bit more of an eye guy thing, and that's not a bad thing. I want all of our hitters to challenge it. You know, we saw it in Cody's AB. You know, you flip a 1-1 count to a 1-2 count to a 2-1 count, and instead of getting a breaking ball in the dirt, you get a fastball down the middle, and you're able to put a good swing on it. So I think it's really important for hitters to feel comfortable and feel confident in challenging it. But for me behind the plate, you know, weighing the situation and weighing, hey, it's an early count. I'd rather have these in the 7th and the 8th than ripping one that I'm not sure about early. The perfect example was last night. You know, in the 9th inning, we had one left. There was a ball down to Anthony that I felt pretty comfortable it was down, but you know, why not take a shot on it? It's the end of the game.
Josh Bell, 25 at bats lifetime against Gray, the most of any Twins hitter in the lineup tonight, and now it's a 1-ball 1-strike count. And you are getting printouts right after every inning. You know, looking back on the pitches that were thrown, this would have been a good challenge. Good idea not to challenge here. Is that true?
Yeah, we've been getting those for a couple of years, kind of where the strike zone is, you know, whether that pitch clipped or not. I think, boy, Keish, I think it's more strategic than I think it's made out to be. You know, in black and white terms, hey, it's in the box or it's not in the box, but the up and down aspect of the strike zone has been really tough for us to figure out so far this year. Same with umpires. You know, they're not quite sure where the top and the bottom is. So understanding what pitches are good to challenge, what situations are good to challenge, I think is the biggest key to this.
2 balls and a strike on Bell. Keyshaw took off and then stopped. And now 2-2. So he did break for second base, and now Grady Sizemore back in his ear. Molly, do you like running 2-2?
It's a good action pitch. You know, most pitchers want things to happen rather than running the count full. You got a good chance of maybe an off-speed pitch or the ball put in play. And you know, Luke's over there. He's been trying to measure him up. You got to be a little careful with Sonny. We know he's got quick feet. We saw that in the playoff game. He picked somebody off second base, I think, against Toronto.
That he did. I was going to ask our guest about that here in a moment. But first, the 2-2 to Bell. And that one misses outside. But Ryan, I'm glad that Molly brought that up. Seeing Sonny back on this mound, do you go back to the Toronto series, the pick play, Correa at second, and Vlad Jr., the base runner?
Yeah, you know, having Sonny in our locker room for the couple years that he was here, he's just such a gem of a person and individual. You know, he does so many things really well as a baseball player, and he's able to lead a pitching staff. You know, without saying much, you know, he carries himself and goes about his business in an extremely impressive way. And then when it comes down to the little things, you know, feeling his position, picking guys off, in the epitome of that was that moment in the playoffs where probably one of the bigger outs the Twins have gotten in the history of the team. You know, yeah, was World Series outs and all that, but you know, in the recent memory, you know, that out was pretty big in what we did that year.
That it was. Just showed that play to our television audience as you were talking. This place was incredible during that postseason run. Hopefully the Twins are heading back there here this season. Matt Wallner now with 2 outs. Keyshaw at second base. Twins by 2. Gray about to throw his 55th pitch of the game, and now steps off.
You're far too young to remember, but I think it might have been in '87 when, was it Timmy Laudner, our cohort, picked somebody off third base in a momentum-changing play in that postseason series?
Even though I'm not in the dugout, I'm up here with gray hair in the booth. I'm also too young to remember that.
It absolutely happened back in '87.
Ryan, you brought it up, the approach that you guys had last night against Crochet and with your new hitting coach, Keith Beauregard. The one thing that stood out to me so far this year for you guys, just as an offense as a whole, is you're not chasing. And when you're putting together plans, when you're working through what you guys are trying to do as an offense, how much does that come up about attacking certain parts of the strike zone, about not expanding and making the pitchers work? Yeah,
it's interesting because chase rate and miss rate, you know, that feels like something that's kind of ingrained in a hitter, and I think we're built with a unit that that in general just does not chase very much, you know, and that is tough for pitchers. For me as a catcher, you know, when we face teams that don't chase, that takes their walks, they don't strike out, you know, it runs pitch counts up, and it's frustrating, and we've been doing that really well early.
Line to right, but that will turn and travel foul, deflecting off some hands down the right field line. So Wallner got a 2-0 cutter, just a tad out in front. Beautiful Target Field. Temperatures in the 60s here tonight. Matt Wallner 0 for 4 so far in the series. And Wallner, by the way, got hit last night by a Garrett Crochet fastball on his ribs. Had a chance to see that injury. The Cupertino kid, Dan Gladden, always is first to ask said player the next day, "Can I see it? Can I see it?" And we saw it. And Wallner takes a walk. So now Victor Caratini will bat. First walk for Sonny Gray tonight. He's got a good bruise on there, but you know, Ryan, we joked about this last night that Rocco Baldelli always said that Matt Wallner, working at that dairy farm as a kid, he's got like dinosaur bones, that he's just so strong.
Yeah, it's impressive how dented those balls come off of his bones. He wears them. He wears them more than anyone else I've seen. Just, you know, there's no flinching. It's just straight rib cage, straight elbow, whatever, and he wears it really well.
So Wallner at first, Keyshaw at second, 1 ball and no strikes on Victor Caratini. Twins doing a good job elevating Gray's pitch count. Here tonight, here comes pitch number 60 in the 3rd inning. Ball 2. He'll be behind the plate tomorrow for the series finale with Simeon Woods-Richardson going. And so far, Gray this inning alone has thrown 26 pitches and more balls than strikes. Good count for Caratini. That's ball 3.
Ryan, you've been behind the plate a couple of times with Mick Abel on the mound. What makes him, I guess, special? What makes him good? What makes him a guy that can run through a lineup and strike out 5 guys in a row like he did tonight? Yeah,
he's one of the guys that has a lot of different pitch types, and then if you combine that and you pair that with the quality of those pitches, it makes a really special individual. And then you throw on top of that, you know, how he carries himself on the mound. You know, he's seemingly unflappable. He's got this presence about him that you ask from an ace caliber arm, you know, just to be out there in straight face and just attack guys, you know, whether it's going good or bad. And he does just that. It's really special. He's young, he's still learning, you know, he's going through some mechanical things, but when it gets on that mound, it's full compete mode.
That was a hit by pitch, and Andrew Bailey, pitching coach for the Red Sox, out to chat with Gray and Cody Clemens. Will bat with the bases loaded, and the Twins are in familiar territory. They're hitting .382 with the bases loaded this season, including 4 doubles, a grand slam. The Twins lead the sport in bases loaded at bats, hits, doubles, and runs batted in. .43 plate appearances, 13 hits. Look at that. Great numbers so far. We'll see if Cody can add to those numbers and put up a crooked number. Pulled just foul down the right field side.
Never understood why you can't challenge that ball.
And one in front of the umpire you cannot look at. Malachi Moore at first base made that call. The stretch and the 0-1 up and inside at 92. Alex Cora had to go to his bullpen early last night. One and 2. Ryan, what are you looking out for here? The 3 on a 2 out and a 1-2 count.
There's no one that likes the breaking ball in the dirt more than Sonny. That sweeper right there, that's his bread and butter. It's shocking how hard he can throw that ball with as much movement as he gets. that's what he does. You know, he throws enough fastballs to get you cheating to that. But that sweeper down the dirt is always what he tries to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to bounce another one, get a take, and then go for the front hip.
Once again, the 1-2 to Clemens, and it's in the dirt. So with Barry, I was going to ask you, because we saw, and you were behind the plate, that front door sinker that comes back right to lefties.
And I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, this is the spot right here where, you know, as soon as he gets that take, this is where he kind of pulls the trigger on that front hip sinker.
Clemens 1 for 1 tonight. Now Grays, 2-2 pitch to Clemens, outside. It was a changeup, and now the count is full.
A little motion offense here.
And Cody will take his time. A nervous Alex Cora from the third base dugout. Veteran Sonny Gray on the mound, and Cody Clemens digging in. Nowhere to put him. 3-2 pitch. Grounded to first. Contreras will flip to Gray, and the inning is over.
I'm going to have to bounce, guys.
See you guys. Lead 3. Thanks a lot, Ryan. We appreciate the time. The Twins do score 1, but strand the maximum, but add to their lead. Byron Buxton to the second deck. He's over now at back-to-back nights. Buck trucking to a 2-0 lead. Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by Delta. From Twins territory to the world, Delta, official airline of the Minnesota Twins. We thank Ryan Jeffers for joining us for a great conversation last inning. Byron Buxton and the Twins adding to the lead, now 2-0. And a long wait for Mick Abel, and he will see hitters 3, 4, and 5. Masataka Yoshida leads off the Boston fourth. He's 1 for 1 tonight. First pitch, and he rolls it to the right side, and Keyshaw makes the play for the out. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Contreras coming up.
So, Corey, you are a broadcaster extraordinaire. You're really good at what you do. How would you describe Blaze?
I feel like I'm walking into a place that I've known these people my whole life.
So now Contreras. You know, Molly, after Sonny Gray just threw 35 pitches. That first pitch the next half inning normally, traditionally, has been a take. But Carlos Correa would always say, no. That's the one that I want to ambush, because history says, yeah, you normally take a pitch after your starter labored a bit the prior half inning.
You know, the old school philosophy is if your pitcher's had a long, laborious inning, you're going to try to stretch out that next half inning as best as you can. So I differ with Carlos on that a little bit. You know, there are things that have changed. As Contreras wears one right there, but things that change over the course as baseball evolves. I mean, even the 2-out bunt by Durbin with a man on first back in the second inning, I believe, third inning, excuse me. just, you know, it's just different times. And Carlos might be right, but then again, if you do make out on that first pitch, you put pressure on the next guy maybe to take a couple pitches.
Third batter able to hit this season, and now Willie Abreu. Struck out an able changeup earlier tonight. And a sinker hits the corner for strike one.
And I think part of it is that you just don't get that many hittable pitches with how nasty pitchers are now. I think the other thing about it, so you take the first pitch, you swing at the second one, and you save your starting pitcher that had just had a long inning 5 extra seconds, 10 extra seconds.
That's why the possible or the potential reward is kind of slim.
Yeah.
Because if it is strike one, all of a sudden now you're behind.
Yep.
And you have to get into swing mode right away.
Ball 2. Target Field on this Tuesday night. Abreu slices one to left center, and Trevor Larnach with plenty of room will make the catch. Contreras back to first, 2 down. Trevor Story coming up. But first, we check back in with Audra.
Guys, during games, Pablo Lopez typically hangs out here on the far side of the dugout, but tonight he is right next to the coaches because he is actually shadowing Pete Mackey. When Pablo first asked if he can do it, Pete said, wait a minute, is this like a TV thing? And Pablo said, no, it's just for me. I want to see what this is really all about. Pablo says it's his way of continuing to learn and evolve as a pitcher while he is injured. So he's there with his scouting reports. He's got his own clipboard to chart the pitches. And so now we've seen Pablo the pitcher, Pablo the broadcaster, and Pablo the pitching coach intern, if you will.
The pitching coach intern. I like that, Audra. Thank you very much. So Pablo right there with Pete inside the Twins dugout tonight. That's a great story. And now Trevor Story. His second look at Abel. And this is dropped by Caratini. And with that, Contreras will advance to second on a pass ball. Stretching out the legs is Contreras. This will be a pass ball. A slider thrown by Abel.
Slider went the wrong way. Little back up. I guess for Pablo, you've got some downtime. Pick up some internships. Why not? I didn't realize that Pete Mackey was that skeptical of us upstairs, though.
Is this a TV thing? And he went. That call made by Lance Barrett.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Perk. I thought Pete knew Pablo better than that. Pablo does everything with purpose, you know.
Right?
And one of his purposes is not going to be a TV shot.
Though we would welcome him up here anytime he wants to come up.
As open door invitation for him. 1-2 now on Story. You know, Pablo has said that a goal of his, nothing to do with on the field, is to be a Clemente Award winner. And he should win it one day. He is so generous with his time. He has been with fans and the community, with different causes around town. That truly is one of one. One and two on Story, with Contreras at second. Timer down to 1. In the hole, it's Gray shuffling over, and a good throw by Gray, and the Red Sox leave Contreras in scoring position. Welcome back. Check out one of the 4 Twins value stands during your next visit to the ballpark, featuring food and drinks for under $6, from hot dogs to pretzels and sodas. Find your perfect ballpark snack right here at Target Field without breaking the bank. Learn more at twins.com/value. With Paul Molitor, Glenn Perkins, and Audra Martin, Corey Provis from the Dick Brammer TV booth here at Target Field. Twins up by 2, bottom 4, Lee, Gray, and Buxton. Twins made Sonny throw 35 pitches last inning, and now Lee with a drive into right field. Back it goes and gone. An RBI now in 6 straight games. The Twins hit their second homer tonight and now lead 3-0.
Well, we talked about Brooks a little bit last night and his resurgence since that big hit he had in that last Tiger series, trying to get more comfortable from the left side. And I think part of that is just looking to swing at pitches he wants to early in counts and getting a little bit more aggressive. A little fastball middle in there, and he turned on it.
It's his 3rd home run, but his first left-handed. And now Tristan Gray has a couple of left-handed hitting home runs this season, as that ball finds the dock and right. And the Twins add on, now lead 3-0.
You know, I love these 2-run homers, 3-run homers, the grand slam, but leading off innings back to back. You know, that bench has really been alive here the last few days. You can really see the reaction to every positive thing that happens.
Gray 0 for 1 tonight. And again, Sonny misses down low. And Perk, that's where Sonny's been tonight. His misses have been down.
He's always missed down, and I think the one thing that we saw from Sonny the couple years he was here is he knows where to miss. Very rarely did he miss over the plate. And even Brooks Lee, he had to go in and get that pitch. That pitch was on the inner third of the plate. And we've seen him, it was that front door sinker that he would throw. Ryan Jeffers was talking about that, where if he missed, he was going to miss in off the plate. It wasn't going to be a pitch that leaked back across the plate, a hittable pitch. He tries to be very precise with his locations and knowing where he can miss and where he can't.
And now Tristan Gray, 3-1 count, lines a single to right. So Lee a home run, Gray a single, lineup turns over. Byron Buxton 2 for 2 tonight.
You know, I'm going to go back to something that Ryan Jeffers said last night about Crochet, trying to get the bat head out, knowing he likes to work inside. And you talked about, Glenn, about Sonny Gray and where he likes to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And so these guys, I'm sure the left-handed hitters are trying to own that inner third of the plate.
And I think that's what we see the second time through, both Lee and Tristan Gray. And that four-seam fastball to Brooks Lee was on the inside corner. That cutter, I guess that was a four-seamer to Tristan Gray. That ball's on the inner third. And so the only way you're going to get the barrel to that is to commit to hitting a pitch in that location.
Base hit into left field. Buxton is 3 for 3. Right between Story and Durbin. Byron got a sinker, and he's out for the third time. That's 3 straight hits for the Twins, and still nobody out.
Well, Gray probably looking to try to get something on the ground. Not that you're going to turn many double plays against Byron Buxton. Buck hits it sharply and finds a hole there on the left side. Keep the line moving.
So here's Trevor Larnach. 0 for 2 tonight. Sweeper misses away, ball 1. Here comes Gray's 80th pitch of the night. And it's a strike on Trevor. Now, Trevor Larnach earning more playing time in left field. And asking Derek Shelton about that the other day, part of that is the improvement that Larnach has done with his footwork and his improved speed overall this season. And if you just take a look at Larnach and his sprint speed, you do notice a significant change from how he ran last year It's how he's running this year as the Red Sox bullpen goes to work. Righty Jack Anderson just joined the team today. It'll be his big league debut, and former Twin Danny Coulomb on the left. Good eye, ball 3. But this is a part of Larnach's work, and we've talked about this quite a bit on the telecast here, Molly, that Trevor has really done more with his footwork, trying to improve his speed, and his sprint speed is up.
Well, you got to respect that, trying to improve every aspect of his game. Back into a 3-1 count.
It's like a good cut. Change up 3-2.
But, you know, being around spring training at least a little bit, you can see how athletic these guys are and the work that they do put in. And, you know, Trevor's always been known for his bat more than anything else, but he's improved defensively, running the bases way more aggressively, as Shelty has alluded to numerous times since I've been covering some of these games.
3-2 pitch, line to right field, down the line. That's going to be a fair ball. That's going to find the right field corner. Tristan Gray scoring. Byron Buxton, you bet, throw to second base, is in time to get Larnach, but he drives in 2, and the Twins have a 5-0 lead. Now, with Buxton as the trail runner, the Red Sox said, forget him, let's try to get it out. And Shelty will not challenge, so Larnach drives in 2, but is retired and out number 1 here in the 4th inning.
Here's the front hip sinker. Finally threw one. That one leaked over the middle. Trevor Larnach, nice job keeping it fair.
Well, he got the swing and miss on 3-1. He came back with that front door two-seamer. And it looked like Trevor kind of stuck when he went into a slide there. Didn't keep that momentum to get himself under that tag.
Got to slide with your feet down.
Breached.
So base is empty, 1 out, Twins by 5. Keyshaw went after it, and now it's 0-2. RBI 6 and 7 for Larnach. And the Twins inching closer to knocking Sonny Gray out of this game early tonight. It's a third down the line, but foul. We keep talking about the dugout and the energy right now. It is noticeable, and Shelty's mentioned it. And it's just great to see these guys that just seem to have gotten along from day one in camp. Did not get off to a good start, 3-6, but have really turned things around, playing outstanding ball, especially at home. Gray's 0-2. And Keyshaw had a good look at that sweeper. Just look at Byron right now, the energy and that contagious smile.
Not many guys can light up a dugout the way that Byron Buxton can.
Behind second base is Connor Falefa, and he throws out Keyshaw, always hustling by a step. And there are 2 down. It looks like Gray will stay in to see Josh Bell. A 3-run 4th as Bell takes low for ball 1. Josh is 0 for 2 tonight. Three homers and 14 knocked in for the first-year Twin. DHing tonight, 1-1. Nick Abel trying to stay loose inside the dugout. When Sonny Gray left the Twins as a free agent following the 2023 season, he signed a 3-year deal with the Cardinals, 2 years in St. Louis, and now his last year with the Red Sox. As Bell rolls it to the right side, and Connor Falefa throws him out to end the inning, but the Twins add on. Larnach, a 2-run single, but it all began Brooks Lee. He's been red hot. An RBI now in 6 straight games. His first homer left-handed. Twins lead by 5.
Hey,
Home runs tonight from Lee and Buxton. Twins now with 13 home runs over their last 6 games. And now have a 5-0 lead. Mick Abel back to work, and strike 1 taken by Jarren Duran. He struck out swinging in the 2nd. Abel, no runs, 2 hits. He has struck out 5. A check. No swing. No walks. He's hit 1 batter. That was Contreras last inning. Molly, at some point that might be a play you can challenge. The check swing in the big leagues.
They're working on the technology.
Working on that in the minor leagues right now.
And I think it's going to be a really tough one to perfect as far as how they're going to not only use whatever tools that they have to analyze where that bat is, and just so many different stances. And I don't know, it's always been a really tough call for umpires.
The late Bruce Fleming said that was the toughest call for any umpire, was the check swing.
There's still not a true definition in the big leagues, right?
No.
Nope. Two to the right side of the ground ball. Keyshaw's been busy, and he throws out Duran. So 1 away, and here comes Carlos Narvaez. 27-year-old Red Sox catcher. Like to see Connor Wong catch the finale of this series tomorrow. Narvaez 0 for 5 in this series with 4 strikeouts. And that's what you want here, guys. Your offense has scored 5 runs. Get back out there and fill up the strike zone. Abel's doing just that.
He's done a great job tonight. He's 12 of 17 first pitch strikes. And he's done a good job. Talked about it early in the broadcast, putting hitters away. He's been in pitchers counts all night. He's been able to dictate what he's trying to do on the mound. $11 swings and misses.
Six strikeouts now for Abel, matching a season high. But back to the sweeper, and Narvaez strikes out for the 2nd time tonight and 5th time in the series.
First swing and a miss he's got on the sweeper tonight. And that's the pitch. He started working on that last year. Started throwing in the big leagues for the first time when he came over here.
Now that breaking ball early last night perked for Bailey Ober. That was a good swing and miss pitch, and maybe Abel was watching his teammate.
He's gotten 2 on the slider, 2 on the curveball. So I guess I'd love to have 3 different breaking balls.
Your slider was good though, Buck. Come on.
Yeah, what would it have been if I could have thrown a curveball and a sweeper too?
1 ball, 1 strike on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Grounded out to Cody Clemens, who made a good play at first. That was back in the 3rd inning. Twins will have Wallner, Caratini, and Clemens. And the Red Sox bullpen staying busy. Sonny Gray's night likely done. Softly center field. Buxton coming in, and that will drop in front of him. And a 2-out single for Kiner-Falefa will keep the line moving for Roman Anthony. Well, Kiner-Falefa is here, and Molly, let's go back to a key play. Game 7 World Series. Blue Jays had a chance to win it on this play, but Kiner-Falefa thrown out. The ball hit by Andres Gimenez, and Miguel Rojas made the play. A lot of debate about Kiner-Falefa's lead. Was it correct? And just reflecting on that play, what was your assessment?
Well,
Game 7.
You know, there's 2 sides to the argument. One, in defense of the Blue Jays, they realized that the Dodgers had backpicked in the previous series with a left-handed hitter and a guy on third. So they were a little protective of that. On top of that, the third baseman was almost right at the bag, so we couldn't stray too far. But just not enough anticipation of that ground ball. If you're the winning run potentially in a World Series, I would have to say I'd err on the side of being a little bit more aggressive.
What about not sliding?
Well, I think people talked about that too, if it would have been faster to run through the plate.
Yep.
And can you imagine if that World Series was overturned on the call to plate, if he was safe for a way for a season to end on an overturned call at home plate? But I think Kiner-Falefa said that, hey, he was doing as instructed, things they talked about before the series.
Strike 3 called, and Anthony strikes out looking at Abel. A season-high 7 strikeouts. He's throwing well on this beautiful night in Minneapolis. Twins leading by 5 will bat here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Some changes for the Red Sox, beginning first defensively at first base. Wilson Contreras no longer in this game. Andrew Monasterio takes over at first, and on the mound for the Red Sox in his big league debut is right-hander Jack Anderson. Brought up from AAA today. Pitched for Great Britain in the WBC, and now his very first major league pitch to Matt Wallner is sent foul behind the plate. Anderson pitched well in the WBC, allowing only 1 run over 3 innings. Was with the Tigers organization in the past. And then the Red Sox selected Anderson in the AAA phase of the 2024 Rule 5 draft. 0-2 on Wallner. And Wallner now will take his time, and he's always polite. Some Minnesota nice there for Lance Barrett. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wallner stays alive.
You know, this run that the Twins have been on into the 9th game here, it's not like they're beating up on not very good starters.
No.
And they're knocking these guys out of the game. And as you talked about, Glenn, that Sonny Gray swing and miss down, only 1 strikeout tonight again.
Well, and there was some things in his expected numbers that led you to believe that there was going to be some better contact. I think when you're relying on ground balls and weak contact, it's a fine line that you walk.
Wallner strikes out, and he's having a conversation with Lance Barrett. I'm not sure about eye contact there if Wallner feels that he wasn't engaged with the pitcher, but Anderson, it is a strikeout, so there's his first big league strikeout. It begins the home 5th inning.
And Wally's not happy about something.
So Derek Shelton now asking for.
Wally's not going to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Not now.
Next time.
No, now we're going Minnesota mean. Wallner 31 strikeouts. That leads all of baseball. So 1 down here in the 5th, and now Victor Caratini hit by a pitch, and he's flied out here tonight. To your point, though, Molly, just reflecting on the arms the Twins have defeated during this run. From Tarik Skubal to Framber Valdez. And going back to Toronto, even future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer on Sunday. Sonny Gray, good numbers coming into the start tonight. 3 starts, 2-0, an ERA under 3. Allowed 1 home run of his first 16+ innings. Twins hit 2 tonight. I'm reminded, though, of what I heard from the great Roy Smalley a long time ago about a hot team, a hot offense. And you think about the contact you're making, Molly, and it looks great, hitting home runs, extra base hits. But Roy always felt that the sign of a hot team is not just the pitches you're doing damage against, but the pitches you're not chasing. To put yourself in more favorable counts, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, I think that's true. You know, Roy, certainly very knowledgeable, great player in his own right. And just keeping the ball in his zone more frequently.
Caratini strikes out, and there are 2 down. Well, this MLB season, get a Baja for a blast, and thanks to Victor Caratini's long home run last night. 420 plus. Baseball fans, you scored 2. Unlock your free 20-ounce Baja Blast by registering now at BajaBlastHomeRuns.com.
I don't think there's anything more frustrating for a pitcher than when you feel like you're making good pitches that are strike to ball, they're the location that you want, and the other team isn't biting at them. And that's where it makes you feel like you have to be a little bit more in the zone. I think the other thing about a hot team, you think about the miss. And when you're swinging at a baseball, to hit it solidly, the difference between a solid contact and missed contact, a pop out of ground out, isn't very much.
Minuscule.
And so maybe that's it too. When you're hot, you're putting a good swing on it, and you're hitting the right spot of the baseball with the right spot of the bat.
You know, there's a lot of things that go into a hot team, and I think all those points are valid. And, you know, you talk about the ground balls like that sneak through. Brooks's ball up the middle in the first inning last night kind of opened the floodgates. But they're also, you know, mixing in the bombs and the base running and all those other things. But when you're confident and you're not worried to be the guy that has to carry a team or get the big hit, and you're spreading it out, and that, you know, permeates throughout your dugout, and you're seeing the energy. It'll be interesting to see as the season goes on, when the Twins do maybe have this ball start bouncing against them a little bit, that they can maintain that energy and find ways to really keep those things to a minimum.
How they respond.
Absolutely.
2-2 on Cody Clemens. 1 for 2 tonight. Jack Anderson in his big league debut. And Clemens stays alive on a splitter. Trevor Larnach drove in 2 last inning.
Good starting pitching doesn't hurt either.
I'll go foul. Abel coming off 6 shutout last time out against the Tigers, and 5 scoreless so far here tonight. And the Red Sox have hitters 2, 3, and 4 coming up in the 6th. Once again, the 2-2 to Cody Clemens. Now the Red Sox leaned on 3 relievers last night, so a bullpen move was needed today, and Anderson is on the mound right now, and he just struck out the side in his major league debut. Wallner, Caratini, and Clemens, and the Twins go down in order as Abel's coming back out for the 6th.
In 19
Time for our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Mick Abel is through 5 shutout. He's got 7 punchouts right now. 5 in a row he had over the first, second, and third innings. He's got 4 strikeouts swinging, 3 strikeouts looking. He's got the mix working tonight.
Now, the deepest that Abel has ever gone in a start in his big league career is 6 innings. He's done that 3 times. Popped up, and Caratini will play. 0-2 on Caleb Durbin. Tried to bunt his way out with the man out and 2 out last time. Abel made a good play. Alex Bregman played third base for the Red Sox last year, opted out and signed with the Cubs as a free agent. Weekly to short, and Brooks Lee on the move and makes the play. Boy, Molly, it has been a ground ball show tonight for Abel, not just in terms of strikeouts, but the bulk of the balls that have been put in play have been on the ground. As we take a look at the downtown skyline from our Delta drone cam. Nice night, and the Twins have a 5-run lead, but Abel has been a strikeout and ground ball machine tonight.
He's got 7 outs on the ground, 7 outs via strikeout. Do a little math here. That's 16 outs. 14 of them.
Ski-U-Mah
on the ground or not in play.
Look out.
And, you know, at the start of the year and the way the first week or so of the season, one of my concerns was going to be the efficiency of our starting pitching and how that was going to affect our bullpen usage.
Yep. And
all the domino effect that comes with shorter starts. And little by little, you know, we're seeing tonight with Abel just so much more efficient.
And a base hit to left, and Yoshida saw some space on the left side and has his second single tonight. It's been a bright spot for Boston. Just trying to find him everyday playing time has been a challenge. He's in year 4 of a 5-year deal.
You got the 7 ground ball out, 7 strikeouts. He's given up 4 hits. Falefa blooper. Roman Anthony hit a ball hard up the middle. Outside of that, Yoshida's got 2 grounders through the infield, and then the Kiner Falefa blooper to center.
First at bat for Andrew Monasterio. Came in for Wilson Contreras. Began to swing but did not go. That's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. We'll try to get an update as to why Contreras left this game. He did get hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. Monasterio had an RBI single in a pinch hitting spot last night, and that was nasty. Did you see the movement there? 1-2.
Late, committed to the pitch.
That last little tail at the end.
Yep.
Yoshida's at first, 1 out. Long hold from Abel, and the 1-2 is high. But Molly, to your point about getting back to the starting pitching and efficiency, Twin starters entering game 18 of the season tonight, the starting staff alone possesses the 5th lowest walk rate of any starting staff in baseball. And there's strike 3, and Monasterio will challenge. It looked to be a strike.
The batter is challenging.
And the Red Sox again, they do not. The batters, they've only challenged now 10 times.
Oh boy.
And they only have 4 wins, and that is a pretty easy call.
That might be as close to the center of the strike zone of any call that I've seen overturned so far. Not sure what he was doing on the bench before he got into the game, but
well, the Red Sox as a team, they don't challenge, and when they have, in terms of percentage, they have not been very good. So 2 down for Abreu. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Pulled right to Clemens. Played him perfectly. 109 off the bat, but on the ground. And Abel 6 shutout and counting.
Well, you often hear us talk about, as broadcasters and really for all our Twins fans, what a joy it is to watch Byron Buxton. And one of the things that's fun to watch him do is run the bases. When Larnach hits this ball into the corner, I think we all immediately knew that he was going to score. The surprising play was by Abreu out there making a good decision, knowing he had no chance at Buxton, make a really strong play to retire on the backside on Larnach. But man, he was flying.
Line to left, and will hang up for Roman Anthony. And Brooks Lee is retired, now 1 for 3 tonight. Yeah, there is Abreu in right, and I'm with you. I thought the play that he made was a good play, in that realizing who's at first base. Buxton, no chance to get him, but maybe throw behind the runner. And sure enough, perfect throw to second base. And that was the first out back in the 4th inning.
Yeah, and Larnach's speed is getting better, but Buck went from first to home about the same time it took Trevor to go from home to second. So
Tristan Gray went, and it's an 0-2 count. Gray 1 for 2. And that splitter has been tough for the Twins to pick up on, and we'll see if Byron can make an adjustment. He is 3 for 3 tonight. Couple of singles, a home run, and the locations, Burke, have been almost identical.
You'd think after the first one he'd try a different spot. They were different pitches. But when you said earlier, when Buck is going back up the middle of the field on fastballs, you know that he's going to be able to clip a breaking ball in the strike zone and hit it a long way.
And when you're hitting, if you're getting mistake pitches, you know, that's when you need to do your damage.
Yep.
You know, everyone loves a good hitter who hits a tough pitch. But Gray obviously off with his location to put 3 balls right in that same area for Buck.
Batting average up 38 points with 3 hits here tonight. And the 2-0 pitch, he's not done. High and deep to left center field. Back it goes, and this one is gone. Byron Buxton, a 4-hit night, a 2-homer night, 6-0 here at Target Field.
I'll tell you, he can get hot with the best of them, and that was a no-doubter. Was having a little trouble figuring out Anderson until Byron stepped in the box, and he got loaded on a 2-0 pitch.
A slider down. Those two are having a great time.
Oh my God!
I told you.
Yeah, you know, again, the dugout reaction when you're going well. Man, it's fun to be a part of that.
Let's take a look.
Well, that's not a bad pitch for a 2-0 pitch down.
That ball hadn't left the infield, and he was already pumping his fist to the dugout.
You know, the faces on those guys in the dugout, they're priceless. Just, you know, everybody in it for one purpose: win ball games, have fun.
5 process.
The Tommy hack. Use your axe next time.
Thanks, Grizzly.
So Buxton, a 4-hit night. He's hit 3 home runs over his last 6 at bats. And that's low. And a 3-2 count to Larnach, who's 1 for 3. And ball 4. So Anderson retired the first 5. Buxton homers, and now Larnach draws a walk. And here comes Luke Keyshaw into their look here. Byron's home run swing.
I don't know about you, Molly, but when Byron Buxton does things like this, I end up just sitting here with a huge smile on my face.
It brings back that feeling of the joy in the game.
Yes, it does.
And that's why it's been so painful, you know, for parts of his career when he was just had that taken away from him.
Flip to right field, tough play, and Abreu makes a great sliding catch. The ball came out, it was on the transfer. That's the right call. But my goodness, Willie Abreu, he is something to watch and right. A 2-time Gold Glove winner. This was a sliding catch. And I don't think the Twins will challenge. In watching it live, it looked like a clean play by Abreu, and that is out number 3. But Byron Buxton having his best night here so far in 2026. 4 hits and now 2 home runs. 6-0 at Target Field.
Hey, Twin.
'18 career multi-homer games for Byron Buxton, currently ties him with Tony Oliva for 3rd most in Twins history. Justin Morneau 20, and no surprise, the most multi-homer games belongs to number 3. Harmon Killebrew had 35 multi-homer games in his Hall of Fame career. As Mick Abel is ahead of Trevor Story now, no balls and 2 strikes. Our progressive wire cam, Abel's pitch count in good shape, 83 here in the 7th. Through a career high 102 5 days ago here against the Tigers. And strikes out Story on a high fastball. 9 strikeouts for Abel, and that ties a career high. Second time he's done it as a Twin. His other 9 strikeout game was his last start perk of 2025. That great start against his former team in Philly.
He's just overpowering tonight. He's got all his pitches working. They're all in the zone. Feels like he's 0-2, 1-2 on every guy. The guy said he's not 0-2, 1-2. He's getting first pitch outs.
He's got to be over 75% first pitch strikes tonight. It just seems like almost every guy over these past few innings.
18 for 25.
Look at those numbers. I mean, that 18 in the first. What is it, Perk? Anything below what, 15? 14?
If you're 15 pitches or less per inning, you're going to be in really good shape.
Are you saying that because that was your number?
Yeah, that's what I shot for.
Okay.
Yep.
15 was a magic number when I was managing. I always kept track of trying to do the multiplication, second, third, fourth inning. Where's my guy at, and how far can he go?
That's 6 innings, 97, 7 innings, 105. You can keep it right around 15 on average. You're going to be in really good shape. You're going to pitch deep into ball games.
1-1 on Narvaez. Most strikeouts by any Twin starter this season belongs to Taj Bradley with 10. Abel has 9. 2 of those 9 against the guy he's facing right now in the catcher Narvaez. Just gas at 95. Here it comes. Taylor Rogers warming up in the bullpen. Mick Abel. 2-2 on Narvaez. He struck him out swinging at 96. Mick Abel, as his career was blossoming, he said a guy that he looked up to as Max Scherzer. His competitiveness, he's got some fire tonight and a 10 strikeout night to go with it.
Friday at the Home Depot is bringing 14 days.
Six 0 Twins and Mick Abel. 7 shutout, 10 strikeouts. Let's see if he is coming back out for the 8th. Josh Bell leads off, and Anderson, the rookie, on for his 3rd inning. Bell is 0 for 3. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Sonny Gray went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs on 9 hits, only 1 strikeout. That's low, 3-0. Let's see, Abel getting hugs there from Tristan Gray. And 1 by 1, so indeed it looks like his night is over. And Bell taking all the way, 3-1. Yeah, Luis Ramirez, look at that. Handing Abel that ball. That might be strikeout number 10. Finishing 7 innings. A career high in strikeouts, a career high in innings. And Pablo Lopez.
Hey, there's a smile.
There's a smile. Well, so the pitching coach intern had to stop by and check with the starter. That'll be in the seats. That's a new one, though, Molly. A pitching coach intern. And Pablo Lopez had that title tonight.
Yeah, I kind of like that. See, he took a little time out of his duties to go congratulate Mick.
To the right side, Monasterio makes the play, and one out. Matt Wallner coming up. Let's check in with Audra.
It's another fun day at the ballpark. Another fun game summary from Toyota. Byron Buxton with 2 long balls here tonight. 3 home runs in the last 2 games. Brooks Lee also with a long ball, his 3rd home run in his last 5 games. And Mick Abel just dealing tonight, like you guys said, the career high 10 strikeouts, career best 7 innings of work, scoreless innings, mind you, and no free passes either. What a night.
Yeah, great show from Abel tonight, as Matt Wallner with his 4th plate appearance, 0 for 2 of the walk. Yeah, thinking more about Abel. Remember, he was a 1st-round pick by the Phillies in 2020. At that time, he was ranked as the top high school pitching prospect in the draft. Wallner got jammed to second, and Connor Falefa with Wallner hustling up the line makes the play, and there are 2 down. Let's take a look at tonight's injury update delivered by Postman Law, and mentioned last night that the Astros right now are just being crushed by injuries, and that includes shortstop Jeremy Pena is on the injury list with a right hamstring strain. Just a great player, World Series MVP, All-Star. And he joins a lengthy list of Houston injured players right now. Oh, 1 to Caratini. Well, Anderson trying to provide some innings. And he's been doing that here since coming in for Sonny Gray, starting the 5th. Hit hard, but that will hook foul. We did get an update from the Red Sox as to why Wilson Contreras left this game. Lower back tightness forced Contreras out, so Monasterio has been in at first base since the 5th inning. Alex Cora and the Red Sox will be right back here to wrap up the series. A day game tomorrow. We start here on Twins TV at noon. First pitch at 12:40. Simeon Woods Richardson will go for the Twins. And lefty Connolly early. No decision yet this season, but still a good ERA in the mid-2s. He'll go for Boston. So the Twins had a 1-day break on seeing a left-handed starter, and Molly, they're right back in it tomorrow.
Bring them on. A lot of talk early that how the Twins were going to handle left-handed pitching. Sure enough, they see a boatload here through the first 3 weeks of the season, but they figured it out.
I asked Shelty on the Twins radio show on Sunday as they started mapping out the season towards the end of camp. Realistically, how many lefties did you expect to see? He said, yeah, we went through the Kansas City series, so the first 2 series, but yeah, this has blown away what we could have prepared for. Caratini, hard hit, but right at the second baseman, Connor Falefa. He's been busy. And Anderson has a 1-2-3 7th inning. 8th inning coming up. Twins lead by 6. lot to like here tonight at Target Field. Buxton a 2-homer game. And Mick Abel, best start of his young big league career, 7 shutout. A career high 10 strikeouts. His night is over. And now gives way to Taylor Rogers. It'll be hitters 9, 1, and 2. Connor Falefa, Anthony, and Durbin. As Rogers takes over Perk here with a 6-run lead.
He's only thrown once in the last week. Inning and a third in Toronto. He's fresh. Needs to touch the bump.
Aroldis Chapman is up in the Red Sox bullpen. And speaking of needing work, he hasn't thrown in a week. So that's why Chapman will throw the bottom half of the inning. Popped up, shallow left, playable. As Larnach across the foul line. So 1 down, Anthony coming up. Let's go back and talk more about Mick Abel tonight.
Been a heck of a night for Mick Abel. He had 10 punch outs, 6 of them swinging. And I got a whole mouthful for you. 12 0-2-1-2 counts. He faced 26 batters. He had first pitch strikes on 18 of them. He had 3 first pitch outs, 10 ground outs, 15 whiffs. Just pure dominance from Mick Abel tonight. Any way you cut it, dominant. Fun to watch. 90 pitches, 26 balls. He faced 26 batters and threw 26 balls.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's effortless, but he looked very comfortable throughout.
As effortless as it can be to throw 7 innings and 90 pitches, I agree with you.
Anthony 1 for 3. And Rogers delivers 0-2, and that is just outside. Well, Mick Abel, we saw him a moment ago walk towards the end of the dugout. Reason being, he is standing by live right now with Audra Martin.
Well, thanks, guys. Congratulations, Mick. That was spectacular. What felt the best for you on the mound?
I thought the changeup was really good tonight. I think we used it effectively. I think Vic and I were really on the same page with that, just as far as, keep him off the heater and mixing it up. So.
Yeah, you had a strikeout, righty strikeout on that pitch. How much does that give you confidence in the arsenal that you can work with here going forward?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence. I mean, that was a very poorly executed pitch, but it got the job done. It was, kind of off the heater that he saw earlier in the at-bat, but yeah, no, it definitely helps with the confidence.
Career high, 10 strikeouts, longest outing as well, 7 scoreless innings. What will you take away, and hold on to as you now look forward to more starts down the road?
I don't really know. I'm just going to watch the end of this game and then kind of finish my rest of my night and get my routine dialed in, and then I'll look at it tomorrow and we'll see.
How much fun are you having in the dugout with the guys when you're seeing the offense like once again we are seeing here tonight?
It's amazing. It's like, last night was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my career. That was 2 of the most electric innings anybody could have ever asked for. I think that, we're putting our all into every single thing that we do. We're being very intentional about our processes and how we go about things. It's really impressive to see us all doing that together.
Well, you were electric yourself here tonight, so congratulations again. Well done.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Audra, thanks, and we appreciate Mick for joining us live as Roman Anthony picks up his second hit. He's on his way to second base, and he'll make it sliding. That is the first extra base hit for the Red Sox tonight. It's a 1-out double from Anthony. So here comes Caleb Durbin. Twins have Cole Sands warming up in the bullpen, but Rogers will stay in, third batter to see Durbin.
I don't think Mick was excited as he should be after that outing.
What's one of the biggest catchphrases in sports these days? The slow heartbeat thing.
Yeah,
right? I get kind of tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
But I think he would have to go there with Mick for sure.
Ball and no strikes on Durbin. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He's hit the ball on the ground all 3 times. Yeah, we had a neat shot there at the end of Abel's night. As he finished the 7th inning, he was back in the dugout. He just worked 7 innings for the first time. He reached 10 strikeouts. And look at Luis Ramirez. The Twins pitching coach is handing Abel what I would imagine Perk was that last ball for strikeout number 10. That ended the inning. Strike 2, and Durbin will challenge. Red Sox have 1 challenge left.
The pitch is called a strike. The batter is challenging.
So it was a 1-1 pitch, and it's high. So Durbin was correct.
The call is overturned. Boston has 1 challenge remaining.
So now 2-1. Red Sox still have 1 challenge left.
Well, after seeing Mick in that interview and how kind of nonchalant he was about this outing, I wonder what he did with that baseball. He might have just put it back in the ball bag. 10 strikeouts, 3 hits. It's just another day at the ball field. No big deal.
And this is against what's been a really hot offense. I mean, the Red Sox scoring 6 runs or more 3 straight games entering play tonight. And Rogers don't need that with a walk. And Boston will have 2 on, 1 out. And Masataka Yoshida coming up. Yeah, the Red Sox offense really struggled to start the year, but lately, back-to-back series wins against Milwaukee and on the road in St. Louis, the offense certainly has performed better. So for Abel, Molly, to quiet down what's been a surging offense, is it an encouraging sign?
There are some abysmal numbers for the Red Sox really throughout the lineup, maybe except for Contreras and Abreu early, starting out 2-8. Kind of have been finding their footing as of late.
Yoshida has 2 of the 5 Red Sox hits.
2 ground ball singles and a ground out tonight. Let's see if Rogers can get him to hit 1 more on the ground, maybe get a 2 ball.
To left and playable for Larnach. And there's out number 2. And Andrew Monasterio is coming up for the Red Sox. Let's take a look at the upcoming Progressive Twins schedule. We start at noon tomorrow with Twins pregame with Marnie and Tim. Then we play at 12:40. Finally, an off day on Thursday as tomorrow wraps up 15 straight. The Reds are in town for 3. And the Twins are back on the road next week. Mets and the Rays. Second at bat for Monasterio. Abel struck him out in the 6th. And Rogers pumps in strike 1. Anthony at second. Durbin at first. Monasterio, along with Durbin, came to the Red Sox in the February trade with Milwaukee. And Monasterio can play all over. Out in front of that Rogers sweeper. Two on, 2 out, and the 1-2 from Rogers. Strike 3 called. So Monasterio strikes out looking for the 2nd time tonight, and Rogers strands 2. Mick Abel, a big hug from Byron Buxton, deservedly so. 2 headliners tonight. 2 home runs tonight from Byron Buxton. And his home run swings are powered by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. For every Twins home run hit to the Treasure Island home run deck, Treasure Island proudly donates $2,500 to the Twins Community Fund in support of the Junior Twins Equipment Kit Program. 18th career multi-homer game, tying Tony Oliva for 3rd most in team history. And the Twins have a 6-0 lead, and Aroldis Chapman, the 8-time All-Star closer, now 38 years old. He's been at it a long time. Tonight marks his 869th big league appearance, and still throwing hard as Clemens sends it foul, 0-2.
He's just a massive human.
You talking to me or Chapman? Chapman. Okay, go ahead.
No, you. Yeah,
oh, okay.
you. No, Chapman's a specimen. 17th season in the big leagues. Closing in on the all-time strikeout record for relievers.
And he hasn't thrown in a week, so Alex Cora getting his closer up to get some work in tonight. As Clemens takes high. Aroldis Chapman, 1,334 career strikeouts. 3rd most all-time amongst relief pitchers, trailing Goose Gossage and Hoyt Wilhelm. Popped up near the Twins dugout, and no play for Narvaez. Wilhelm 1,363, Gossage 1,340. So Chapman is 6 shy of tying Gossage for 2nd on the all-time strikeout list amongst big league relievers. Perk, how did you view it's not a safe situation, but you haven't thrown in a week, just the get the work in kind of assignment on a given night?
The one thing I would do, especially because there's another game against the same team tomorrow, is I wouldn't try to show my best stuff. I would try to get through it as quick as I could. I knew why I was out there. It definitely feels different when you get used to pitching under pressure with adrenaline.
Wow.
Ouch.
98 sinker in on the hands on Clemens.
Backhand, yeah. I would try to be as efficient as I could to make sure that if the situation arose the next day, that I'd still be available to pitch.
I see some smiles there from Grady Sizemore. That's always a good sign. Masa Abe, the Twins training staff, so Cody looks to be okay. But again, tomorrow, Danny will stop by the clubhouse and grab Clemens on his left hand.
He'll poke it, make a fist.
Yep.
Give it a good squeeze.
Yep.
You know, a lot of times you can tell by the direction where the ball goes as how much of the brunt of the velocity he actually took, and that ball did kind of carry on through, as opposed to Waltner last night when that ball pretty much dropped straight down.
Chapman really, he hasn't hit many people throughout his career. We're talking about a guy that's thrown almost 830 innings. He's hit 34 batters. Brooks Lee from the right side. Well, he's already homered once in his career in the same game from both sides of the plate. Our Delta drone cam. Look it down to Chapman on the mound, Clemens at first, and Brooks Lee at the plate.
.826 innings Chapman has thrown. He's allowed 54 home runs. That was like one season for Bert, wasn't it?
I think, what was it, 50? Yeah,
I think so, yeah. Sorry if you're listening, Bert. I love you.
I was lucky enough to be in Cincinnati for Chapman's big league debut. That was in late August 2010. It was against Milwaukee. And when he started to warm up in left center, all the fans that were in left center field at the Great American Ballpark, you just saw this mad rush of people leave their seat and just stacked up against the railing looking down at Chapman as he strikes out Lee. And there was a period, guys, early in his career. Walt Jocketty was the GM. The late Walt Jocketty was the GM at the time in Cincinnati when there was debate, Molly, about Chapman. Should he start? Should he be in the bullpen? And the right call, because he's been as dominant as any reliever ever in the game. But there was some discussion early on about Chapman. Would he be better as a starter?
We've seen so much hype over certain players coming out of the draft or what have you. But I remember Chapman as much as anybody in my recollection, his expectations and what they were going to do with him. I don't know, wasn't he touching 104 back in the early days? And they made a good decision, I think, molding him into a late inning arm, backed up by the numbers.
It was Aroldis Chapman that was with Kansas City that allowed the Royals to receive Cole Reagans. And that's where Chapman, up until this most recent run with the Red Sox, you know, he was signing late in the offseason, really a one-year deal. And then he was often traded to a contending team.
There was a little stretch there a few years back where he started really struggling with command, I think, for the first time in his life. They were having difficulty bringing him in because the amount of base runners he allowed. He couldn't control the running game.
And Gray strikes out, so back-to-back strikeouts, and there are 2 down. And now Byron Buxton coming up, has one career 3-homer game. My Twins members don't have to wait for the weekend for $2 beers. Choice and reserve members can enjoy Budweiser, Bud Light, and Summit Twins pills for only $2 from the time the gates open until the scheduled first pitch. Every home game, your cold one is waiting. Learn more at twins.com/mytwins. Here we go. All-Star against All-Star, power, and Byron took a big cut. Fastball at 99. Buxton, one career 3-homer game. That was in 2017 in Toronto. 4 hits here tonight.
I think, Glenn, this is one of those situations where a guy like Buck, maybe you don't want to show your best game plan to get him out. One of those key batters you might have to face in a safe situation.
Something tells me that Chapman only has one speed, though.
I agree with that. Although he has, you know, he kind of incorporates that two-seamer a little bit more. The splitter was a non-factor early in his career. He's added that to the mix.
One and two, 100 miles an hour.
I remember the at-bat he had against Joe in Cincinnati 2015, and long at-bat. Joe hit a double off the left field wall, and
Josh Willingham, right?
He's throwing 104 miles an hour, and he said, how do you do that? How do you eliminate a slider? He said, well, you can't throw it for a strike, so you just give up on the spin.
Check swing, and no swing.
How do you see the ball to determine if it's spinning or not?
Yeah, not being so anxious where you're jumping out trying to find that heater, right?
Yeah.
One of Joe's probably most memorable at-bats. People talk about that, you know, many years down the line.
And Josh Willingham at the game-winning home run. That's low, 3-2, and Narvaez will challenge. It looked low. Chapman looking up to the video board,
It's
and
called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
And look low, and Narvaez is wrong. So 3-2, just missed.
Ball is confirmed. Boston is now out of challenging.
1/10 of an inch.
Less than, way down.
Aroldis Chapman, he pitched for Derek Shelton. One season in Pittsburgh in 2024. And now in his second year with the Red Sox. 3-2 on Byron. His 2 career 5-for-5 games. Clemens will be off. There he goes, and the 3-2, and that is strike 3 at 99 towards the outer half of the plate. So Chapman hits Clemens, strikes out 3. 9th inning coming up. Twins lead by 6.
Six nothing Twins as we head to the top of the 9th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Twins are 3 outs away from their first shutout win this season, and we'll see if Cole Sands can make that happen. Abreu, Story, and Duran. It's a bat for the Red Sox. Yeah, the first offering from Sands is a sinker for strike 1 on Abreu. 0 for 3 at the plate. A couple of really good defensive plays in right for the 2-time Gold Glove winner. New bat for Abreu. The Red Sox have not been shut out this season. They have 2 shutout wins. The 0-2 from Sands. That's a fair ball, and Clemens right to the bag. And 1 up, 1 down here for Sands. Twins coming in at 10-7, tied with Cleveland atop the American League Central. The Guardians playing St. Louis tonight, and Cleveland was winning late. And the Cardinals have come back a bit, but the Guardians have a 5-4 lead going to the 9th.
Is it too early to scoreboard watch?
Never. I know all you guys. Molly, you'd be watching those scores in the dugout, players as well. Despite those lies you would say, no, we're not. We're just focusing on the field and what we're doing. Liars. All of you. Yeah, you guys would be doing that too, looking at all the scores.
I don't even know where the out-of-town scoreboard is.
If you look at your screen, you'll find it. But yeah.
You know, I actually would say that, hey, I'm watching. You know, when it meant something, you know, yes, you take care of your own business, all that, but it's relevant.
Everybody's paying attention to what everybody is doing.
Now, in April, maybe not.
1-2 on Trevor Story. 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 6 in the series. In the hole left side, Brooks Lee can't make the play. And now we'll chase after the ball, and Story is safe at first base. That's a play you want to see Brooks Lee just to his right, Molly, the backhand, maybe that Derek Jeter spinning jump throw.
You know, I think Brooks has got good hands. That ball, the last hop, the back of the dirt, just kind of comes up enough to where it catches the heel, and Brooks unable to field that cleanly. Would have had a tough time throwing Story out.
There's a base hit for Story. .94 fastball strike on Duran. He's 0 for 3. Last time the Twins swept the Red Sox in a 3-game series at Target Field was back in 2015. Oh, 2 pitch to the gap in left center field. Buxton on the move, no problem.
Did that?
And 2 down.
Was that the series that included a Mauer walk-off or no?
Yes, it did. That was the Joe Mauer. That was Joe's first ever walk-off home run. And the only walk-off homer he hit to the bullpen in left center. Good call, Perk. Yeah, that was back in 2015.
He's the big right-hander on the mound for the Red Sox.
Yeah, if it's going to come to me, because then he allowed a home run to Max Kepler. The next time he was back at this ballpark, Kepler hit I think it was Kepler's first ever home run.
That wasn't
and Kepler hit one to center. It wasn't a Cevis. The Cevis was the game winner at Fenway in 12.
Yeah.
And that led to the famous Mauer likes wine coolers.
Ah.
Slicing foul. Clemens giving it a look and no play. First name Matt. Yep, a righty. Because I believe he allowed Kepler's first home run in his career. The next time he threw a pitcher, Kepler went to straightaway center. Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes was the pitcher.
Yes.
Oh, 2 on Narvaez. He has struck out 3 times tonight with Story at second base. Fouled back. Twins postgame is coming up with Marnie and Tim. Audra will be joined by Brooks Lee. Now we'll hear from Derek Shelton as well. Once again, Sands fires 0-2. Narvaez had a notion there, but did not go after it. The 1-2. Strike 3 called, and the Twins pick up their first shutout win of the season. 6-0 over the Red Sox. The Red Hot Twins have won 8 of 9. 6-0 the final, and the Twins improved to 11-7. Mick Abel was tremendous. He went 7 shutouts, striking out 10. And Byron Buxton, a 4-hit night, homering twice and scoring 4 of the Twins' 6 runs. Twins postgame is coming up. 6-0 the final. For Glenn Perkins, Paul Molitor, Corey Provis saying so long for now. Twins postgame is next.
Bring on the